claims by professor of Harvard University Department of Astronomy, saying that the alien probe that visited us in 2017 left a message for the scientific community. That was the celestial body, the interstellar comet Umuamua, that he's calling a message from the scientific community, for the scientific community. So the Harvard professor Avi Loeb believes an alien visited in 2017 and that more are coming. Well, the astronomers did tell us that we would be having a lot more interstellar comets coming towards our Earth or in our direction. Harvard professor Avi Loeb believes that an alien probe visited our star system in 2017 and it brought a message, quote unquote, to the academic community. It was an unremarkable day in October 2017 when Canadian astronomer Robert Warwick made an astonishing discovery. Thanks to the data from the University of Hawaii Pan-STARRS 1 telescope at the Kaleakala Observatory in Hawaii, Warwick saw an unusual, elongated object about the size of a football field screaming through the solar system at a whopping 196,000 miles away. Now, the strangest thing of all was that it seemed to be speeding up slightly, pushed by an invisible force that has yet to be fully explained by scientists. Its highly unusual trajectory caused it to pass our sun, leading scientists to believe that the space object, later referred to as umuamua or explorer in Hawaiian language, was the first visitor from outside our solar system to be observed directly. Over the past 3 years, countless attempts have been made to explain the unprecedented feature of umuamua. Some speculate that it was a hydrogen iceberg, while others suggest it was a traveling space rock covered in a layer of organic sunscreen. For Avi Loeb, an astrophysicist and professor of science at Harvard University, the answer could be tantalizing. Their controversial argument is that umuamua may have been a probe sent by an alien civilization, an explanation that has attracted enormous media attention and unsurprisingly proved divisive among the experts. In his new book entitled Alien, the First Sign of Intelligent Life Beyond Earth, Loeb explores his provocative hypothesis, using the story of umuamua to lay the groundwork for much larger conversation. The struggle to be taken seriously within the scientific community that has historically maintained the discussion around the search for the existence of remote terrestrial intelligence. During an interview with Futurism, Loeb argued that the scientists' explanations fell short of explaining the many quirks and eccentricities of umuamua. The scientific community advocated for something we've never seen before, he said. An example of this was what Loeb called the dust rabbit hypothesis, which theorized that umuamua's strange trajectory could be explained by very low density. The problem with that is I don't think something the size of a football field, that is a dust bunny, would survive a journey of millions of years through interstellar space, Loeb said, aspirating that hypothesis. He says, I just don't think it can stick together. For Loeb, the scientific explanations that tried to include umuamua in an existing scientific framework simply did not make sense. The point is, on the one hand, you can't say it's natural, argued Loeb, and then when you try to explain it with natural processes, you come up with something you've never seen before. And that's how it ended up in aliens. The root of Loeb's alien theory is that umuamua may have been a solar sail sent to us from another star system. In the simplest terms, a solar or dinghy sail is a form of propulsion of a spacecraft that converts the low pressure of solar radiation into motion. Earth scientists have already experimented with the concept in 2019. The non-profit Planetary Society launched a craft called Light Sail 2, which uses 340 square feet of an extremely thin layer of reflective polyester film to gradually propel itself. For Loeb, a solar sail pushed by starlight could explain the unexpected acceleration of umuamua. So, if it's so solid and not just a dust rabbit, the astrophysicist concluded that the interstellar visitor must also be surprisingly thin, perhaps by his calculations less than a millimeter thick. For the astronomer, the conclusion of the solar sail was the follow steps, like Detective Sherlock Holmes. When you rule out all other possibilities, whatever you have left must be the truth. That conclusion is an exaggeration for many astronomers in the field, who have repeatedly challenged Loeb's conclusion. In a 2019 study published in the journal Nature Astronomy, an international team of researchers argued that they found no compelling evidence to favor an extraterrestrial explanation for umuamua. Umuamua's properties are consistent with a natural origin. University of Maryland astronomer Matthew Knight, co-author of the study, told Reuters at the time, and an extraterrestrial explanation is not warranted, he said. Their argument was that umuamua is a planetesimal or small fragment of a planetary building block that has just drifted through our star system. Weyrich, who discovered the object in the first place, had no kind words for Loeb's hypothesis. He said, "Honestly, that's a bit of wild speculation. I think it's a remnant of another star system," added Weyrich. "It's just something that happened to us by chance, and we were very lucky to have been operating the telescope that night and looking in that direction." These rebuttals appear to have emboldened Loeb's investigation into umuamua's extraterrestrial origins, as well as leading him to make a passionate plea to the scientific community, as outlined in his book, to take SETI research seriously. Search for extraterrestrial life intelligence. For Loeb, it's about reading the stars with an open mind. He told Futurism, "My guiding principle is modesty. If we are not arrogant, if we are modest, we would say that life as we have it must be common. We know now from the Kepler satellite data that about half of the sun-like stars have a planet like Earth, roughly the same distance, so it can have liquid water and the chemistry of life as we know it," Loeb said, referring to the habitable zone of a star system within which life could theoretically be supported. And this is from Collective Spark. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.